Hey, what's up everyone? Wolverine Articulation back with another action figure review. Today we are looking at the Hasbro Marvel Legends 80th Anniversary 3-pack of X-Men. We have Wolverine, Jean Grey, and Marvel's Cyclops. Sort of a love triangle 3-pack. Here in this very nice blue packaging and pink nostalgic style design, following the Havoc and Polaris design. So I do like that. There's the front, you can get a good look at the figures. On the side we get some images of Cyclops, Wolverine, and Jean Grey. And on the back side we get almost like some trading cards printed on the back with Jean Grey, X-Men, and Cyclops read-ups below it as well. Alright, so here we have the three figures out of the package. They are packaged in just like this. So we have Cyclops with just his fists. He does come with an alternate hand and some alternate heads. We have Wolverine, which does come with the most accessories. He comes packaged in with his bone claws and his ripped apart mask, and the yelling face is part of that head sculpt there. And then Jean Grey comes with the least amount of accessories. She's packaged in with her loose long hair, and she does have an alternate head, which we will look through all the accessories, but this is very nice. I am pretty pleased with this 3-pack, as I took it out of the box and unpackaged it and took them out and started playing with them a little bit. They do look good, So Wolverine is a repaint slash retooling. Some parts are different because, of course, the head is just a head swap, and then the bone claws are different. But in terms of the rest of the body, it is the same. They did repaint the yellow a little bit more yellow and less orangey, if that makes sense. The previous Wolverine was a little bit more of an orange color right here. So we will compare it next to some of the previous Wolverines, but this is more of a flat yellow. So it matches the yellow on Cyclops here for sure. I think that gives it more of a, I guess it's a little more accurate to the animation, because it was that color yellow. So I do like that they matched it with him, but then Jean Grey is not matching yellow with these two. So I don't know if that's accurate or not, but she has more of an orange color on her outfit here. So I think we should take a look at Jean Grey first, since this is the figure that mostly everyone needs or wants, because the previous one is a little bit hard to come by now. Now we finally have a chance of getting our Jim Lee Jean Grey classic 90s X-Men attire version or whatnot. So she looks cool, she looks good. So we have the headpiece, which is a little heavy because of the hair, so it does kind of go back slightly like that. It's on a ball jointed hinge, so it can hold the pose once you hinge it down, but there's some parts where it kind of goes back, but it's not too bad. Overall, it does look good. The face sculpt came out pretty nice right here, if we can get a closer focus shot. But for the most part, the entire figure is the same figure. It's the same one that we got before, the rare one, but it's just re-released and repainted slightly. Do have a little bit of misalignment on the yellowing paint. It's kind of bleeding onto the blue there. So it's not the cleanest of jobs, but that's the only thing I can really see that is not perfect on the figure right now. So Jean also does come with the ponytail version of Jean, so this is her only other accessory that she comes with, and this is very cool of them to include because the previous release did not include this, so this is new, a new piece. And if we want to pop this off and check her out with the new headpiece on, let's do that right now. And that pops in just like that, and that looks very nice. Yeah, that looks good. I like this. And it's not as heavy as the other one, so it does hold the weight, but it does look really good on the figure, so they did a good job on that. So her articulation, the head's gonna swivel left and right on this head at least. It's more range there. She can look up, even with her ponytail. It does get hindered a little bit. She can look down. With the other head, she can still look left and right. Whoa, there you go. So not too much hindering there. You'll just have to put it over the shoulder for her to look to the sides, and looks down and up as well. And the arms are going to go up, but she does have these shoulder armor pieces that will just angle her arm outward like that at an angle, so it's not straight up. In and out, there is no bicep swivel. There's only a single jointed elbow with a swivel at the wrist with a hinge. Diaphragm joint goes back It goes forward, it goes left and right. There is no waist swivel. As you see, the belt is a separate piece. And then the legs are going to kick forward and back in and out, but not too much. That's about as far as she goes on the legs going in and out. There's a thigh swivel, double jointed knees. The ankles have a hinge that go forward and back, and they do rock left and right. And that is it for Jean. Alright, so I was mistaken a little bit in terms of the body sculpt. They're completely different, actually. I don't know why I thought they were the same. There was just a re-release or repaint, but I am 100% mistaken on that. So I apologize for those of you that probably already wrote a comment down below telling me how wrong I was. But yeah, forgive me there. It's different. The legs are different. You can even just see where the cut is on the thigh swivel. It's completely different there. The leg pouches, or whatever you want to call that, it's way bigger on this version, and it's not so, you know, it doesn't stick out so much on the new one there. And just the entire torso piece is different too. So the shoulder pads are different and the chest piece is different. I think the figure is completely different. So my apologies for just assuming that it was the same, but they look similar enough, you know, without me having them both hand in hand to think that they were the same. But clearly now they are definitely different. And the paint job, as you see, there's a difference in paint job. It's more orange on the new one, and the blue is more of a marbleized metallic blue on the older release. The red hair isn't so red on the older release there, and I can just say that the face sculpt and overall head sculpt is better on the new one, in my opinion. I like it a little bit better. You can see there. It's a lot more dramatic for sure. The sculpt on the hair and all is a lot more dramatic. And yeah, so there's your look at them side by side. Definitely, I wouldn't get rid of my original one though, still. Gives me a reason to display the new one in the ponytail version and leave the original and the long hair version. At least that's how I think of it. But some people went ahead and did get rid of their original one. But I can say, yeah, I think the new one is a better figure. Now, in terms of articulation, it's pretty much the same. They didn't really add any new points of articulation for the new one. So I'm going to just turn them around, and so we can get a look at the back, and you can see the difference. They did print the numbers and serial number or whatever that is from the factory on the back of her leg though, so that could be a little annoying to some people. So there's a look at the new one with the ponytail, and then the older one just as is. And then also the old one did not have a hinge on the neck. It was just a straight up ball joint, so you couldn't hinge it forward and back on the original release. Next up we have our Cyclops, and this Cyclops is our Cyclops in bomber jacket. So this is very nice of them. It wasn't just a simple or lazy repack of any kind. It was a retooling and pretty much a new figure in my opinion. Yeah, it's using 80% of the original release of the Cyclops, but you know, we got the jacket and we get some alternate heads with the red sunglasses, which are right here. So we get one that has kind of like a smirking face here. See if you guys can tell the difference. And then the other one has like the hair is ruffled up, and then he's got more of a serious face. So there's a difference there. And I like that they went ahead and gave us that. And you can see the glasses are different as well. They're not the same glasses. And there's the back. So that's cool. I like that. And that is not it. Sorry, I thought that was it. But we get the, of course, the beam shooting posing hand here for Cyclops. And that's it for Cyclops right now, officially. So this is something that a lot of collectors were actually doing themselves when the original one released from the Warlock wave. They were using the Old Man Logan jacket, taking that off, popping off the arms off their Cyclops, and putting on this, or the Wolverine jacket onto this one. So that's funny, and it worked out. It actually looked really nice on, you know, the props to the people that did that. Could have served as an inspiration for Hasbro to do their own, which they did. Whether or not that's official or not, I don't know. But yeah, if it was, then that's the power of the toy community right there. You know, it's awesome. Now we got an official release of it. So, and from my understanding, this is not actually the Old Man Wolverine arms, because that one actually had double jointed elbows. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought it did, but I don't have it in hand right now. It's still packed away in a box somewhere, so unfortunately I can't find it. But so his head's gonna move left and right just fine. It's on a ball jointed hinge, so it does look up, it does look down, we get the arms going forward and back all the way. We get a bicep swivel, single jointed elbows, swivel at the elbow. We get a hinge at the wrist with a swivel, a ab crunch, a waist swivel. T-jointed legs will kick forward. Now we got a little strap falling down. We get a thigh swivel, double jointed knees, shin swivel, and we get a hinge at the foot and an ankle rocker at the foot right there. Alright, here's your look at him with the ruffled up hair and serious look. And here's a look at him with more of a smirky / happy face and his other set of glasses. And those curious, yes, you can put these new heads onto the original Cyclops, which is this one here from the Warlock wave. It fits just fine, so it seems like it's the same peg hole, which is nice. And if you want to put this head on your original one, you can. Alright, and speaking of the original Warlock Cyclops, here he is next to our new bomber jacket Cyclops, if that's what we're going to call him. And looks good. So you can clearly see the difference in terms of the color. The blue is different, the yellow is different. So they did change that. I don't know, how do you guys feel about that? Did you wish it was the same color? Do you not care? I don't know. It doesn't really affect me personally, since they're two different figures. I don't mind it. Now when it comes to maybe toy photography, if you want to make a little like collage picture scene where he kind of puts on or takes off his jacket, I don't know, then it's not going to really look or make sense because the colors change. But you know, it's not a big deal to me personally. So unlike Jean Grey, this is the same figure except for the torso, jacket, and the arms. Those are clearly different, of course. The harness and the Bucky cap mold, which these two are using, are of course the same. So the articulation is the same there. Even the head sculpt is the same. They did paint it a little bit better in terms of the hair for this one here. I like the detail on the hair there, but the actual face expression is the same for these two. They just repainted it, of course. Looking at it from the side or the back, that's how they look. And Mezco did make their own Jim Lee 90s X-Men Cyclops with a bomber jacket of their own. And in case anyone wanted to see a comparison between those two, here they are. I tried to get them in a similar pose, and in doing that I discovered how hard it is to actually get the new Legends version right here, to get him to touch his visor, because he doesn't. Because of the single jointed elbows, it doesn't touch. But right now I'm kind of pulling a little illusion because it looks like he is holding it, but it's not. It's just in front of his face. But yeah, that is a thing in case anyone was worried about that. So, and then here's Cyclops next to the Cyclops that came in the Toys R Us exclusive 2-pack, in case anyone wanted to see a side-by-side next to this one, which I do like this one a lot too. And then lastly, we have our Wolverine. So Wolverine's been released several times before in multiple colors, that's for sure, unmasked and masked. But this time around we get multiple heads, including the masked, unmasked, and even a half unmasked, since it's kind of like ripping apart. And we actually do get the bone claws and the metal claws here with the different color on the yellow. So I think they pretty much have released every single version of this 90s X-Men Wolverine that they can possibly release at this point. So I'd be surprised if we see any more unless it's just a straight up re-release. But yeah, I do like this despite the fact that it is another Wolverine from the Jim Lee design and 90s X-Men. This is my favorite version of Wolverine, so I don't mind getting another variant of it, especially since it is different. It's not just a repackaged, recolor, like they did with the vintage sets. So I'm okay with it. I'm not bugging at all, so I'm happy and it looks great. I love the yelling face because we haven't gotten a yelling face like this before, and the hair coming off his mask, the mask being battle damage, is very cool. So I like that they did that. They could have gone a little bit further and maybe done some rips on the actual costume, on the leg or on the chest or something. Make it completely battle damage to get a 100% different look. But overall, it's a nice looking Wolverine. I actually like it, and it's mainly because of that yelling face. He's always kind of like yelling, and you can get some nice shots from a face like that. So speaking of the faces, let's go ahead and take a look at his other faces. Let's get him to stand first. All right, and he comes with, of course, our non-ripped up, non-battle damage head with showing teeth. Face is not closed, but he's not yelling either. So he's still mad. And then we do get an unmasked head, which is actually a little different. Looks like he got a little bit of a haircut here, and the face is done very well. I like the detail there. The eyes came out very nice. And the hair is a little bit shorter than previous unmasked Wolverines. And then this is our cowl that we can put around his neck when he's wearing the unmasked head, of course. So there's that, and that's it for Wolverine's heads. We have alternate metal claws, and then that will wrap it up for his accessories completely. We've seen these before. These are actually the older style claws, not the new ones that came out in the X-Force Wolverine recently, which are these here, which are a little different. So they went ahead and gave us the older ones. So this is, of course, the best Wolverine body for Marvel Legends made ever, in my opinion. So I like how Hasbro's not letting that go to waste, and it's gonna be exactly what you're gonna expect from this body mold. So the head's gonna go left and right on that ball joint. It's got a hinge, so he's gonna look up. Whoops, went too far, popped off, and then it does go down, and then we have the arms going forward and back, in and out. These shoulder pads are on a little peg on the front and back of the shoulder, so they do move around with it. And then we get the butterfly joints, which are beautiful for this figure. Whoops, there it is. And then we have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which is the only figure in his 3-pack with double jointed elbows. But then he's got some massive biceps, so it's not too crazy anyways. We have a wrist swivel with a hinge. We have a ab crunch, a waist swivel. Then the legs will kick forward and back, in and out. We get thigh swivels, double jointed knees. We get those nicely hidden shin swivels. We have a hinge at the foot with the ankle rocker right there. And then here he is with his unbattle damage head. And what I noticed right away is how they actually made the ears a little bit more separated this time, which was something that people were complaining about in the previous Wolverine. So they did listen there, and it's a little bit more spread apart. So if people want more of that classic look, because the ears are like meant to be a little bit more spread apart, this one does have that. It's significantly different than the original ears, which I do have here. And it's funny because this is the same face, and the ears are a little bit more far apart. So unless that's just how it was packaged in, and my ears were just a little bit farther apart, let me know if your ears are more farther apart. Because if yours are like mine, then that means they did it on purpose. Of course, they fixed it. They kind of, molded it a little bit more spread apart. So you see the difference. It's not humongous, but it's still significant enough to see a difference, at least in my eyes. Some people may end up wanting to have it a little bit more far apart, maybe like that, And then lastly, we have our unmasked head here with of course, the mask is hanging from the back. It does leave a little bit of a gap. I think that's just mine. Just gotta warp it, a little bit more far apart to have it just laying. So that might be from the package. So there is that, and I want to show you guys the unmasked head. This is actually the unmasked head. It does not come with this specific Wolverine, because this is of course the Wolverine from the Apocalypse wave, but that Wolverine never came with an unmasked head. But the vintage release of this Wolverine with the darker brown costume came with an unmasked head. Alright, this should make things a little bit easier. This is the vintage wave Wolverine. This is the new one that I'm reviewing right now. These are both from the Apocalypse wave, but this one has his head, because I bought 2 of those vintage ones for the unmasked head to put on that one. So obviously this did not come with it, because it does not have the cowl piece, the mask piece to put around his neck. So yeah, that's the difference there. But you can see that they kind of shorten the hair of the Wolverine. It's a different face expression as well. There's a closer look at the heads side by side. And then this one's from the Jubilee wave, the old Toys R Us exclusive wave. This is an unmasked head as well, of course, as you see, with the mask on the shoulders there, on this old X-Force body that they used to do for Wolverine. And then here's a look at him next to the Puck series Wolverine, which I think was their first attempt in a kind of like yellow and blue color repaint on this body. And it wasn't the greatest, obviously, because it's not the most accurate there. And then here is the recently released X-Force Wolverine figure on the newer buck there with some new boots and the new claws too, and you can just see how just over time how they just perfected Wolverine coming from this to what we have now. And that will wrap things up here for this Love Triangle 3-pack X-Men, Wolverine, Jean Grey, and Cyclops. I really do enjoy this 3-pack a lot. Definitely a nice release by Hasbro, and they're really pumping out these 90s X-Men figures with no stop, you know, so they're doing a great job. And it's definitely a pack that I don't feel like it's unnecessary. I feel like we needed a Jean Grey and we need a Cyclops with the jacket and the alternate heads, and then another Wolverine with a battle damage head, a new updated unmasked head. The bone claws is, you know, I'll take it too. Alright, and I went ahead and threw in some of the other X-Men, because this is not all of them, not even close, but some of the other 90s X-Men into the mix, just to wrap up the video and show everybody next to each other, or show the majority of them next to each other. So that's going to wrap up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Leave a like if you did, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and as always, have a great day.